the oppressors and the oppressed. And in between are the cowards and the hypocrites. Which are you?
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
Good morning and welcome to Open Conversation on Atlantic Television Network. Open Conversation is the network's flagship political platform through which trending political news, events and stories are discussed with stakeholders. Through these conversations, ATN uses political talks about specific issues, party system and actor to explore hope and engender positive impact to the society. Today on Open Conversation, we look at the stories. First, PDP crisis. Turaki-led National Working Committee denies faction despite INEC rejection. And still on PDP crisis, Wike-backed caretaker committee dissolves 14 states. And Board of Trustee members reject alleged suspension order. On Labour Party crisis, Abure faction warns against illegal activities, slams Nenadi-led caretaker. On 2027, reps approved tougher vote-buying penalties, electoral reforms. We're open for sponsorship of the program, advert placements, news, events coverage, and commercials. Watch us live on our website, www.atlanticnetwork.tv. On Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network. You can also watch us on Avo TV, Niger TV, and Efastech TV platform. You can connect with us on our ATN socials by subscribing, like, and share. Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network. Instagram and TikTok, Atlantic TV Network 1. And on X, Atlantic TV Net. We'll go on a short break, and when we come back, we'll delve right into the show. Do not go away. Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. Joining me on Open Conversation this morning is Nze Nze, a regular on Open Conversation, and he also prides himself as advocate of the masses. Good morning, Nze. Welcome and Merry Christmas.
Good morning to you. Good morning to Nigerians. Merry Christmas to every viewer.
And on to the story. People's Democratic Party has denied claims of internal factionalization following the Independent National Electoral Commission's refusal to recognize the Kabiru Turaki-led National Working Committee. INEC said it could not upload the list of officers elected at the party's November 15 to 16, 2025 National Convention in Abado, citing subsisting court judgments and pending litigation over the PDP leadership crisis. Reacting, PDP National Publicity Secretary Ini Emobong said the party had appealed the judgments relied upon by INEC and filed for a stay of execution, insisting that there is no faction in the PDP and that the party's legitimate structures remain under Turaki's leadership. Nze, what do you make of this story?
What we are discussing here is what every political watcher in Nigeria had expected. And it's not too strange to us. We've said it over time that even before that, the hosting of that convention, many of us had said that PDP, if care is not taken, will be hosting that, that the hosting of that convention will become an effort in futility if they don't arrest some of these issues that are poking up their heads here and there. You recall that Federal High Court in Abuja had asked the PDP not to continue with that convention. Yeah, but they quickly ran to Oyo State Federal High Court in Ibadan and obtained permission to host the...
Not Oyo State Federal High Court. Oyo State High Court.
Oyo State High Court, sorry. Yeah, you know, to obtain permission to host the stuff. And yes, actually the convention was successful and produced leaders or leadership in PDP, in that faction. So for them now coming to tell us that they don't have faction, I don't know what that means, because we know that FCT ministers group who were similarly suspended by the Turaki-led National Working Committee, our National Executive Committee, so to speak, somehow had factionalized themselves, and they are now pushing and pulling, and in fact they are really they are really moving faster than the Turaki-led executives, and INEC coming Turaki-led executive coming to say that there's no faction is improper. Yes, there is faction, except if they are standing on the basis that they have suspended these people and they're no longer members.
If they are standing on the basis that they have suspended these people, the suspension, as it stands right now, is even contentious in the sense that, you know, this suspension happened during the, you know, controversial national convention. No, yeah. During the controversial national convention. Now, if that convention right now is a matter of litigation, so if at the end of the litigation that convention is annulled by the court, it means that whatever happened during that convention, the product of that convention, which is the National Working Committee, everything done in that convention is a waste.
Yeah, yes, we know it will actually. That's why I said that if they are depending on what
the outcome of the convention.
The outcome, yes, that is to them who believe that the convention was legal. Yeah, they have suspended these people, and to them, they are no longer members of PDP. But these people say you can't suspend us because you lack the powers to suspend us based on their own grip on the law that a court had issued an order.
Two court orders, actually. Yeah. Yes, we have, first of all, the judgment of Justice Omotosho asking the PDP not to conduct the convention.
Yes.
Then Justice Akintola of the Oyo State High Court went ahead to say, oh, you people should conduct the convention. And then Justice Peter Alefu of Federal High Court sitting in Abuja also gave a ruling in the same line, quoting Justice Omotosho's earlier court order. He still gave the same ruling and said, do not conduct that convention, quoting Justice Omotosho. And after Justice Peter Alefu said that, Justice Akintola came again to give another order, countering the one of Justice Peter Alefu. I will go ahead and conduct that election. But what one will find interesting is that at the end of the day, you know, when the matter also came up in Oyo State High Court, INEC, you know, filed to be recused from that case, to withdraw, to be removed from that case, because according to INEC, Oyo State High Court does not have the jurisdiction over that matter concerning them, because they are a federal commission.
Good. You know, this is where sometimes we complain about the rascality in judiciary. The Akintola court was aware of Peter Lifu's judgment and Omotoshaw's judgment. And as a judge in State High Court, he understands that this is a national convention of a national political party, number one. This is INEC, a national commission. So as a judge, he should know where his jurisdiction
The State
ends.
High Court does not have that jurisdiction.
Yeah, he should know. I'm saying that the judge should know that.
Reserve
of the Federal High Court.
Why wouldn't judges know that? Isn't that judiciary 101?
So for him to know this, and he went ahead to deceive the faction, the Omar Damago's faction of PDP, to go ahead to host.
He gave them what they prayed for.
Well, why should you give when you don't know you don't have the powers?
The court always tell you that the court cannot. The court is not for that Christmas. They can't give you what you
do not ask for. But why should you go ahead to give what you don't have? Now they prayed for it. It's just like someone now coming to ask you for maybe the documents of this organization, and you know it is not with you. It is not in your disposal. You go ahead to hand it over simply because either you're a secretary in the office or whatsoever, and you know where that stuff is kept. So why should the judge give out what he does not have? Yes, the people have asked for what they needed, and the court that does not have what the people needed went ahead to.
You know, when you talk about judicial rascality, and you're making your observations that the judge had no imprimatur of authority in the first instance to hand over that ruling. That would be left for appeal courts to decide. But then, you know, while Nigerians, as Nigerians, we are always looking at the judiciary, the judges. How about the lawyers? This is where the MBA comes in. You know, a lot of political cases in this country has made me, and other Nigerians even begin to question some of the lawyers that are being churned out from Nigerian law school and from Nigerian institutions. There are basics in the law. I mean, when a case comes to a lawyer, I think one of the first things they look at is the jurisdiction of the court. Where are you going to file this matter? Is this matter going before the magistrate court or the high court? I mean, is it the federal high court or the state high court? These are elementary law practice that a lawyer should know. So how about lawyers that know that this matter, the state high courts do not have jurisdiction to entertain this matter, yet they take them to these judges. They file these matters in these courts. What is the role of Nigerian Bar Association? Because Nigerian Bar Association is always taking its swipe at the judiciary, at the judges. How about the lawyers?
Now, if I may maybe throw more light on this as an observer. I'm not a lawyer, but as an observer. You discover that in law, when you have passed out from law school, you go back into what I personally consider as apprenticeship. You know, understudying the senior lawyers. You know, carrying bags, watching their operations and their antecedents, and from there you can now take up your lift. Now, we see where the politicians have twisted most lawyers, either with gifts, incentives, or coercion. And most lawyers now behave as if though they do not know, because when they look at the gift that is forthcoming, and it will be too juicy to forsake. So they accept it and run to one little court like that, you know, in the ignorance of their client. They run to that court and fight the case. Now the judge who supposed to put these lawyers on their toes, on their right track, and say to them, this court does not have jurisdiction to handle this matter. They still accept the same thing. So knowing that lawyers are humans who can be swayed by bribery, also judges are humans, despite the oath they take. Because in Nigeria, taking oath no longer matter. Anybody can take any oath and walk away with it. No regard, no sacredness anymore. So I believe that the judge that gave this Turaki-led executive the permission to host that convention had deceived the people. And the appeal court, just as you rightly said, will actually give a verdict to this. If at the end of the day appeal court says that Turaki's, Omar Damago's faction had right to host that convention based on the judgment of the Ibadan High Court, then INEC will have no option than to recognize them.
Now, one would say there was the ruling that came first. The ruling that came first was not that of Oyo State High Court.
Yeah, that is
Oyo
very
State
clear.
High Court's ruling was more of a reactive ruling. You know, when you look at the ruling by Justice Omotosho, which came first, and we said, do not conduct this convention until this suit will be determined. So ordinarily one would expect that you listen and then hope for an expedited hearing on the matter, correct? But in this instance, that was not done. So like I said, it will be interesting to see, though there have been precedences, I mean, politically there are precedents. This matter is not a new matter in the sense that it has happened before, you know, in time past. So there are precedents, and one can tell this is where this is going to go. But yet again, we are still going to test the law and what the law will have to say. We are still going to test the judiciary. And it's interesting times ahead of PDP. And then looking at all this in line with the 2027 election, how do you see this panning out for PDP?
You know, it is one of the things that we've been saying over time, and it is gradually snowballing down to those predictions. If the judgment of the last judgment that gave PDP permission to host this convention had been a court of coordinate jurisdiction, it would have been a different matter we'll be discussing.
It still came second.
Yes, it still came second. But you know, the
they
judge
usually say the first in time.
But the judge might be considering some variables.
Now the thing is,
but whatever
in law, a court of coordinate jurisdiction cannot entertain the same matter. First of all, courts of coordinate jurisdiction, sister courts, cannot entertain the same matter. Not just entertaining the same matter, in this instance, they gave rulings. Do you understand? They gave rulings, and these rulings are contradictory. Do not forget that Justice Peter Lifo of Federal High Court, seated in Abuja, also quoted, he didn't just give ruling, but he quoted his sister courts of that of Justice Omotosho, quoting that Justice Omotosho had given a ruling asking that everybody should wait and see the outcome of the matter. And in this instance, he's also toeing with what Justice Omotosho has said. Mind you, there are similar cases but different complainants.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you understand? Different complainants but similar matter. The prayers are similar in the sense that they are both contesting, both the one of Justice Omotosho and the one of Justice Peter Lefo. They are contesting the National Convention, right? And they said, hold on. And in the case of Justice Peter Lefo, he said this convention cannot go on until it is ascertained. The convention cannot go on because if it does, it will cause great harm to the complainant who complained of being denied
permission to obtain the nomination form
in order to contest for the primary.
Yeah.
And he is a member of the party, and he is a financial member, and probably by payment, he's a trustee. This is what happened in Rivers State, APC Rivers State, and when Supreme Court gave judgment. Interesting thing was that the people the Supreme Court gave judgment in favor of only paid 1,000 naira.
Okay.
They paid. The details of that story, maybe one day I would take my time and tell Nigerians how APC was, you know, struck out from election. Do you understand? It was 1,000 naira that they paid, and they went to court. The fact that they paid 1,000 naira, the court said they are not just members, they are trustees by the reason of that 1,000 naira. And you know, the court awarded them 1 million naira, that the party should pay them back 1 million. And guess what? Stopped the party from holding that election. And that was how APC did not have candidates at all levels of government contesting. Yeah. Right? This might play out in the case of PDP. Don't you think this is why even more people are defecting? People who are running elective offices, who intend to run, they are defecting because you buy from, at the end of the day, Supreme Court judgment will come and they will tell you.
No, that whoever signed your form wasn't authentic leadership of the party. I believe that is actually what, that could be, let me not speak in verbatim, that could be the reason for most of the defection, especially those governors that still have one tenure to complete their second term, you know. And why we cry foul is because we had expected them to, as governors in their respective states, we had expected them to, you know, put up their arms together and rectify the issue in PDP. But instead of going into that struggle to put things straight, they are now leaving. And some of them might say that they have tried, it's not working. Because you see that Wike team is head-bent on making sure that PDP does not fit in 2027.
Why would you say that they are hell-bent?
It
takes two to tango, don't you agree?
Yeah, yes, it takes two to tango, but when you look around, when you see even what is happening, presently they have had a caretaker committee.
All right, we'll still come to that, but still on PDP crisis, People's Democratic Party has reasserted central control as the Nyesom Wike-backed National Working Caretaker Committee declared itself the party's sole legitimate authority and dissolved state working committees in 14 states. The decision followed a meeting of the committee in Abuja. Acting Chairman Abdul Rahman Mohammed said the caretaker committee operates under the authority of the party leadership and the board of trustees with a 60-day mandate to manage party affairs. He warned members against being misled by parallel leadership claims, insisting the PDP remains united and guided by its constitution and Nigerian law. The committee ratified caretaker structures in affected states and approved a timetable for state congresses beginning January 9, 2026, ahead of a national convention. It also dismissed claims that a rival Turaki-led executive had been recognized by INEC, describing such reports as false and misleading. Continuation of the conversation. So we just finished the Turaki-led debacle. We are now
go to Abdurrahman's...
yes, Abdurrahman-led caretaker committee.
Good. You see, we almost preempted this because sometimes, you know, in political calculation, you can you can jump ahead of your answers, then come back to solve, follow the sequence of the process. So you see, like what is happening. We were saying that why the Turaki led ESCOs are struggling with relevance. The Abdurrahman's caretaker committee are laying claim strongly. And if by any means the court has says, let status quo be maintained pending the determination of the suit, you see that when you look at it from the eyes of the court or of the law, Abdurrahman might be standing a better chance. Because they have been there, they never conducted any, they were not part of the convention that, you know.
That was conducted by Damagun.
Yes, they were not part of it. So one may say that they are still the authentic PDP members. But where the thing is paining me is that PDP is the one inflicting this injury on themselves.
But then, still talking about the action of the Abdurrahman-led, this convention, they said they are going to embark on state congresses starting from January 9.
World local government state congress,
yes, against national convention.
Yeah.
Now, even if they go ahead to hold that national convention, they will be doing that in contravention to the earlier ruling by Justice James Omotosho and by Justice Peter Alifu.
When you look at the ruling, like as you rightly said, that the both ruling, both Omotosho and Peter Alifu, were actually focused on one particular convention, whereas the cases came from different complainants. If the complainants goes back to, let's take for instance the Jigawa State governor, if he goes back to Peter Alifu and says, I think by the what the Abdulrahman's leadership is doing, I am now okay. They have allowed me access to the form. What do you think the court will do? The court will strike at the case. Because he is the complainant.
If I understand, they've allowed him the form. Allowing him the form, in this case, the convention in question has been held.
Remember his plea was, please, I am a trustee of this political party, and my party want to hold a convention, and I want to contest so elective position in that convention, and they are denying me. So my right is being infringed on. Please, court, help me. Compel them to hold on until we have rectified the issue. And these people say, no, we will not listen to court. They went ahead to do whatever they wanted to do. And for that reason, the NEC is saying, what you did was in nullity, because court has says, do not do this, and you have gone ahead. Now, if the same complainant comes back to court and say, yes, this group, part of us,
that
PDP,
is the
Abdurrahman's led caretaker committee, comes that this group, part of us, who obeyed you by not becoming part of that convention, because that's what it will now show, by not becoming part of that convention, have now offered me nomination form. So for that reason, I want to withdraw the case. Do you think the court will say no?
No. Now, what you're saying will be shooting himself in the foot. It's simple in the sense that withdrawing the case automatically authenticates the Turaki-led National Working Committee. When you withdraw a case, that means
whatever judgment that is given is now annulled, or what?
Yes. When you withdraw, hold on.
He has a lawyer, isn't it?
Listen. When he withdraws that case against the Turaki-led National Working Committee, it's just like you took someone is sentenced to death, and then the president gives presidential pardon. The person leaves. And in the law, there is no crime committed. That's what presidential pardon does. It wipes off that crime. It will not be held against you. So, what it means is that the Turaki-led National Working Committee becomes authentic. That is what it means. By going of that case.
It is. So I'm now speaking. He is not the one speaking. And he has not prayed the court to withdraw the case. Remember, he had not praised the court. I'm just saying that if he goes back to the court,
you can say the only way Turaki-led National Working Committee can escape this is by, finding some level playing field, some compromise with these people, if they can get them to withdraw the case against them.
Okay.
That's the only way they can now stand and say, we are unopposed before the law.
But are you aware that
until that is done, INEC cannot recognize Turaki-led leadership. Now, what I am interested to know is if INEC is going to recognize Abdurrahman. Now, the interesting thing is, whatever it is that comes out of, the interesting thing is that the Turaki-led leadership might decide to go to court.
They're already in court.
No, hold on. Might decide to go to court to contest these congresses.
Okay.
To contest the Abdurrahman-led National Convention. And if they insist, if they don't vacate it, if they don't vacate whatever ruling that will come restraining them by the appeal court, and they go ahead, then they have fallen into the same pit that they dug for the Turaki-led leadership.
Yes,
you see how that is going to play out.
It is becoming more complex. But however, this is PDP matter. You just pointed. You know, one thing is that sometimes we think that these people in leadership has all the knowledge, but they do not. You just gave a little advice to them if they will heed to that and swallow their pride and heed to that. You know, seeking some soft grounds and you know, reconciliation. You know, give and take. Recalling the people not because they didn't even suspend the experiment.
President when court said and gave certificates of expulsion.
So withdrawing those certificates and all that, you know, it will just need a lot of you know, going back to one's vomit and things like that. But if they understand if I would say the heaviness, the weight of what is upon them, because this cannot be this. If they go by the way they are trying to go now, this case will be there till 2028, and you now see that they have nowhere, they have no foothold, you know, to settle. But if they can,
judgment might actually come very close to the election, just like it happened in Rivers State, where Supreme Court gave judgment very close to the election. I mean, the window for campaigning, the window for primaries, the window for everything had been closed.
Okay.
And there was nothing that could be done. And Supreme Court, because that tussle started from High Court to Appeal Court, and Supreme Court gave judgment, and APC lost out. And that judgment was not funny.
Yeah.
I think that judgment was a 2-hour judgment. Supreme Court was reading judgment for 2 hours. And by the time Supreme Court was done, what was in the court was silence of the graveyard. There was nothing anybody could have done about it. So it is what it is. I think one lawyer, Jerome, Fabemi was the lawyer, SAN was the attorney, you know, defending the APC at that point, that faction of the APC. At some point in the court, Fabemi was nowhere to be found. It was Jerome. There was a young lawyer at that time. I remember the story like the back of my hand. A young lawyer at that time stood and made a passionate appeal to the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court, you know, they said, we wish there was something we could have done. But in the first instance, the very fundamental law was broken. The fact that that foundation was faulty, there is nothing, you can't lay nothing on nothing. You see, that's the thing. Now, that's why I am looking at, even when River State crisis started, I was looking at the very foundation. What was it laid on? That was why I was very, very vocal that this is not going to pan out well for certain state actors, but a lot of people misunderstood my position. I am still looking at it, even right now. You know, Turaki-led National Working Committee could have had a fighting chance. Yeah. Because in the first instance, they had the majority of the National Working Committee. So Damagum would form a quorum comfortably if he wanted, whereas the Wike-led faction can't form quorum of the National Working. So Damagum actually called for a meeting and form a quorum, whereas, you know, these other people, before the caretaker was formed, couldn't form a quorum. So if Damagum could form a quorum, it means that he has the legitimacy to take decisions, and those decisions will stand. But then, at some point, out of desperation, they made mistakes. And probably this is where it's going to cost them. I don't know. I will not preempt the court. But when you look at issues surrounding PDP crisis,
the outcome is somehow, you know, surfacing little by little.
With Wike Caretaker Committee, the Abdurrahman-led Caretaker Committee, planning to hold state congresses. What is the authenticity of that Congress? I am interested to know how authentic that Congress is going to be.
Yeah. But I believe that even themselves know.
Was there a convention that produced this caretaker committee.
No.
We should be asking fundamental questions.
They just came out of the blues.
All right.
That's why I'm saying that I believe that Wike faction know their illegality. They know it.
Is Turaki legal as well?
No, see, I'm coming, before I come to Turaki, because Turaki's illegality is as a result of court order, court judgment. But Wike's, Abdurrahman's illegality is because no law produced them. They just emerged. Except if by tomorrow they prove to us that it is possible that someone can from anywhere come out and become anything. As against the constitution, the laid down rules of that organization. So I'm looking at the point that these people know that what they're doing is not right. But they're doing what is not right in order to invalidate the other people who are also in
Not
one way or
right.
the other not right. Because if they keep quiet, no, you can't just keep PDP like that. So there is need for activities to be ongoing. So that activity that is going, we keep them. We're already in 2026. You understand? So if that case should continue till November 2026, then what do you think that PDP will do? It means that they do not have. By the time they begin to rally around for World Congress, local government, states, national, the 90 days gap will elapse.
All right. Very well. Still on PDP crisis. Some members of the People's Democratic Party Board of Trustees have disowned a communique issued after the party's 83rd Board of Trustee meeting, describing it as unconstitutional, illegal, and without effect. The members conveyed their position in a letter to former Board of Trustee Chairman Adolphus Wabara through their lawyers. The Board of Trustee members challenged a section of the communique that purportedly announced their suspension and referral to the National Working Committee for Disciplinary Action. Citing the PDP constitution, they argued that the Board of Trustees' role is strictly advisory and does not include powers to discipline or suspend members. They also questioned Wabara's authority to issue the communique, insisting his tenure as Board of Trustee Chairman has expired. The members urged the public to disregard the communique, demanded its withdrawal and retraction, and warned that any action based on it is unconstitutional and legally actionable. So now, in PDP, we have the Wabara-led Board of Trustee, and we have the Ohabunwa-led Board of Trustee. Now, apparently, the Wabara-led Board of Trustee have, suspended some Board of Trustee members who are writing back to him, and they are telling him, Board of Trustee does not have the powers.
You itself don't have power to suspend those.
Yes. So
and
now,
the board you are heading also.
It's advisory.
It's advisory.
It is not administrative in that sense. So
it is paining me when I see two brothers involved in a feud that has to do with multiple people of different background. That is where I think if I should be fully involved in politics, that's where I think that diplomacy needs to play out on a very serious note. Now, Wabara BOT, though they are saying that his tenure has elapsed, has expired, is backing Omar Damagun. Why Ohabunwa BOT? Ohabunwa-led BOT is backing Samuel Anyanwu and Yeson Wike and Abdul Rahman led the caretaker National Working Caretaker Committee. So you see, Ohabunwa and Wabara are brothers, so to speak. Brothers in the sense that, first and foremost, they are Igbos. Secondly, they are from the same state. And invariably, their state is being ruled by another political party, not their party. Wabara has been a Senate president. He has been a BOT chairman. And yet, PDP had ruled Abia State from 1999 until they lost out to Labour Party. Why? Because of lack of governance, effective governance. And you people have been there. So to what extent will anybody trust you that you have influenced the government when you were in power? Number 3 man in Nigeria. To what extent have you influenced the government to effect a good governance to the people of Abians? You drive or wherever you drive from, immediately you enter your own state, you begin to, dangle from one place to the other until you enter your community. And today, you are the BOT chairman. And Ohuabonwa too is a BOT chairman. And 2 of you cannot come together and discuss in your own dialect, not just in language, in your own dialect, in your own accent. How do we do to keep PDP going? Rather, your own group are doing whatever they are doing. Ohuabonwa's group are doing what they are doing. I see that as people playing politics with ignorance. Or rather, what they play politics just for the gain of it. Not for what the people out there, for whom they are where they are, will receive. Because if that is that, these 2 groups will not, yes, their role is advisory. But you know that their advice is like advice of a father. That a child is a counselor in his community, in his ward. His father may have been a former anything, former this or former that. He cannot come and issue a statement. Whereas his son is in charge. But he can advise his son. He can call him to the house. Sir, you do not have right to declare what happens. Your son does. But he can stay in the house and influence the action of his son. So I believe that if that of Wabra and Ohuabonwa had come together to discuss the way forward for PDP, in one way or the other, they might have been able to secure a level playing ground for the 2 warring parties. Now, if at the end of the day, since Ohuabonwa is working with Wike, he can quietly walk up to Wike, and 2 of them will discuss. Now, after discussing with Wabra, you have discussed with them, you mustn't make it public. Then you come back and discuss with Wike, but what do we do? How do we sustain this party? Okay, we don't want this party to produce a candidate, blah, 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 blah. Can we agree on ourselves that towards 2026, maybe middle of 2026, PDP will come openly to say that all the governors in PDP, you have automatic ticket to run for 2nd time, but for the federal, no. We're not fielding candidates. We want to give our support.
How would that make the party look?
Yes, it will. One thing it will do is that it will save the party. The party can survive for that period. Are you getting me? Because the governors now who have defected, you see how the governors have left the party now, trying to. In fact, it may come to a point if Intri leaves, and 1 or 2 again leaves, PDP, the only governor in PDP will be Bala Mohammed. And maybe because of the office he's holding as the chairman, he can't leave.
Says who?
And if he leaves, then I don't know who he will hand over his office to. Or at the end of the day.
When you say handing over his office, PDP Governors Forum is not in the constitution.
Yes, everybody knows that.
It's not a structure in any party, any political party in this country. Governors Forum is not a structure.
But they contribute immensely to the well-being of the party.
Probably because of their financial...
The funding.
Their financial, I will use the word investment in the party. That's what has given them probably all that. But when you look at
both finance and influence.
Yes. But when you look at it, what gives them influence is the money, because they are governors. That just it is your position that gives you the influence, right? So it is majorly that. But when you look at it in the constitution, there is something like PDP Governors Forum, APC Governors Forum. So even if all the governors in the party leaves, it does not affect the structure of the party. You could say it affects the funding and probably
the followership.
The followership as well, and it also reduces a whole lot. But when it comes to PDP structure, whether there are governors or there are no governors, I mean, changes nothing.
Not every political party has a governor.
Labour Party before P2B influence came in.
They have been functioning.
They have been, exactly. Yeah. And they also won elections.
Yeah.
Won seats into National Assembly, got a governor as well and all of that. So, I mean, maybe PDP is going back to square one and hopefully they will still build. But then moving on to Labour Party crisis, Labour Party has warned the Abia State Deputy Governor, Ikechukwu Emeto, and some suspended members, including Senators Nenadi Osman and Darlington Wokocha, to stop using the party's name to engage in what it described as illegal activities. In a statement by its National Publicity Secretary, Obiora Ifo, the party accused the individuals of organizing unlawful membership registration and calling for an illegal convention, stressing that Labour Party had already conducted a valid national convention in March 2024 and commenced nationwide registration exercises. The party urged the public to disregard such activities, insisting that INEC recognizes the current leadership under Julius Abure. It warned that it would pursue all lawful means to challenge any actions undermining its constitution, adding that the Labour Party has moved on and is focused on preparations for 2027. What is your take on this?
You see that let me enter from the back. When we were saying that P2B's remaining in Labour Party will cost him dearly, you see it coming up now. Obi is standing with Nenadi Usman's faction. And the last time we checked, I think it was you that checked the INEC portal
still lists Julius Abure.
Yeah, you see that INEC portal still has Julius Abure as the national chairman. So,
by court order.
Yeah. So what Abia State Governor, the only Labour Party, the only Labour Party governor is doing, and P2B with Nenadi Usman is invalid. So it is obvious that if Alex Oti we contest election under Labour Party in 2027, it might be contentious at the end of the day, because I doubt if Abure will at the end of the day endorse him.
Well, he has ZLP.
Okay. Yeah.
Do not forget that during the local government elections,
ZLP
he moved his loyal people to Zenith's Labour Party,
which
all of them won elections under that party. So at the state level, his structure is intact.
Yes, but you now see that to a large extent, the prediction of Ben Carlo is somehow coming to pass, because...
What prediction?
The prediction that Labour Party will not rule Abia come next election, 2027. And we see Labour Party losing its grip. Perhaps ZLP will be taking over, or any other political party that Mr. Governor will wish to contest election under. But now, looking at what Obiora Ifo is saying, you know, accusing Nenadi Usman and Abia Deputy Governor, you know, of using the name of Labour Party to carry out illegalities and all that. From the reality of things, you see that based on what court has said and the stance of INEC, it's like Obiora Ifo might be right. It doesn't matter where you pitch your tent. What counts is the place legitimately yours. If you build your house on another person's ground or another person's land, I believe that according to the law that I have had, that the owner of the land owns whatever is in the land.
One would question whether Julius Abure is actually the authentic chairman, national chairman of the party. Recall that there was a judgment, an appeal court judgment in the favor of Julius Abure. I think that judgment that court held in Enugu State, and that judgment was appealed to Supreme Court, and Supreme Court overturned the judgment of appeal court in favor of Julius Abure. Now, the contention is that the Supreme Court judgment is not declarative, in a sense. So Nenadi Osman is laying claim that the Supreme Court judgment is in their favor. Interpreting it their way, Abure is also interpreting the Supreme Court judgment in his own way, laying claim that it affirms him as the national chairman of the party. But one thing is established: the Supreme Court judgment overturned the judgment of the appeal court affirming Abure. So where does that leave us?
You see, just like you said, the Supreme Court judgment is not declarative. I believe that the judges actually were doing such things with clear intention of putting the litigants in a kind of, in the blues, where you now seek perhaps another court.
No, they can actually still go back to Supreme Court, asking the Supreme Court to interpret their own judgments, because it's kind of confusing to them.
Yeah.
Then probably the judgment will now become declarative.
Yes.
The Supreme Court will now explain, you know, what the judgments are, why the judgments were given, for the reason,
and what they stand to achieve,
and also make it declarative. Maybe declare, Julius Abure, by this judgment you are hereby removed. Nenadi Osman, by this judgment you are hereby recognized. But as it were, you know, critics, political critics are saying the judgment was not declarative enough. And that gave the lacuna for both factions to lay claim
to the judgment.
Yes.
Yes, you see, just like you said, I believe that if Nenadi Usman's faction actually understood it from this angle, they should have gone back
a long time ago.
Yeah, to Supreme Court to get that judgment cleared. But leaving it till now, because it's closely coming to a point of...
I think we should even be asking questions. Who are the ones advising these politicians? Nigeria should be asking, who advises them?
When someone who is...
Because a lot of the political analysts that come on Open Conversation, they, just like you, they are better strategies than some of the... Because when I look at some of their actions, I'll be like, wow, interesting. Because, I mean, this is common sense. Go back to court. They would have come back to court
long ago.
Immediately after that judgment.
And get the interpretation
immediately after that judgment, and Abure is laying claim. They are laying claim. It's not declarative. It's confusing. They've gone to INEC. INEC has not taken a position because clearly the judgment, according to political pundits, they say it's not declarative enough. That was enough reason. For me, at that time, that was the best time to have gone back to the Supreme Court and request for clarification on the judgment, right?
Yes.
I think by now it would have been clear. Everybody would have known where they are standing.
And you know that INEC, irrespective of the fact that Julius Abure's name is still in INEC portal as the national chairman.
As it stands, I don't think INEC has updated their portal in a very long time.
Okay.
So I wouldn't even hold on to that portal as a reason.
Because I think, was it election in Edo State or where, that INEC de-recognized the candidate of Abure? I think it was either in Edo State or
that is correct.
So if INEC
de-recognize, that's a position that they have taken.
Then.
And you know that, Nenadi, I was actually very interested to know what position INEC was going to take. But unfortunately, Nenadi Osman did not field the candidate.
Yeah.
It was only Abure that fielded candidate. And Abure's faction, the candidate of Abure's faction, was de-recognized. On the side of Nenadi, there was nobody to recognize or de-recognize.
So we wouldn't know where
now,
they
if
are.
we are to go by that position, by INEC, can Abure be laying claim to the position of national chairmanship?
There is something that is very clear here that I would want all Nigerians to, take to the bank, that your enemy leverages on your ignorance. And what if the ruling party, the All Progressives, is it Congress or APC? Sometime, not
All Progressive Congress.
So what if they are leveraging on the ignorance of these politicians? Because now Nena Usman is parading herself as the caretaker committee chairman of Labour Party, and Julius Abure is parading himself as the authentic, in fact, substantive national chairman of the Labour Party, based on the convention, 2024 convention that produced him, which they claim that INEC monitored and things like that. So what if the APC is looking at that and is praying that the two parties shouldn't understand themselves, that they should just continue?
But then the President Bola Tinubu at some point had said that clearly. I think that was when, that was during, I think, a meeting. It has to do with the APC. He said it clearly. I can't recall the exact occasion, but President Bola Tinubu said it, that he is enjoying it, that he will not be the one to go and fix their house for them to come and fight him.
Okay.
So they should continue fighting, but I wish them all the best. Do not forget that there was a time that Abure, Julius Abure, called on President Bola Tinubu to come and intervene in Labour Party crisis.
Yeah.
And then you have Turaki-led National Working Committee of the PDP calling on Trump to come and intervene and save democracy in Nigeria. And President Tinubu said, if I will use in Nigerian slang, they will say President Tinubu is catching cruise with all these things. And he said, I will not be the one to fix your party for you.
Yeah, to come and fight me.
So keep having your crisis.
So what if one should borrow an idea from there that the ruling party is actually picking cherry? Yes, from this angle, from this crisis in Labour Party and the PDP. And you know that the crisis in AD somehow are doing that in ignorance too. Because when the fire, when the smoke will rise, which will be followed by the fire, they will now be looking for where to hang on. Already, by then, the only political alternative will be APC. And when everybody is now in APC, APC will become the sole political party in Nigeria. Then the trouble will come up.
Implosion.
Ah, yeah, it will hit. It will hit. Let's just see what, I think we're 7 days from now, we'll be in 2026. Then we'll wash our eyes, shine our eyes to see how the whole thing
2026 is going to be very, very interesting. One would say that a lot of political pundits say this is the first time an actual politician is the president of Nigeria. What we've had so far, we've not had politicians as president. President Goodluck, the ex-president, Goodluck Jonathan, was more like an administrator.
He was an academia, not a politician.
And a gentleman. And
Obasanjo was a soldier.
Yes.
Buhari a soldier.
Exactly.
So,
Yaradua didn't have enough time to
showcase what he has.
But when you look at the lineups of the past presidents, Tinubu appears to be in a class of his own as an established politician.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways.
And we the analysts are actually understudying him. Yeah, why we hit the ball, or we hit the bell, or we make the noise, we are still taking our times, separating his activities, lining it, and good enough, they now took this to perhaps to committees and began to do clause by clause amendments. And what they had come up with is okay by me. It has actually, though they might not have called it a criminal breach, but from the penalties, added to it, it's obvious that it is a criminal offense. Should anybody be caught either buying vote or selling vote, whichever way, you are entitled to 5 million naira fine and 2 years imprisonment. And the greatest of it, 10 years ban. 10 years ban. In case if it is
from contesting election.
If it is a governor going for second term and you are convicted, you are gone. So you are returning back after 10 years. Your glory must have waned. So I think I like that. Because why should we increase in criminality, in illegality, in things that confuse us the more? Why? We saw high level of vote buying in 2023.
Open.
Very open in 2023 general election. When there was scarcity of naira, they switched over to dollar. And we're buying with dollar. And people, look at all the people that sold their mandate, sold their conscience and all that. What mouth do they have today to speak against this government when the government is coming up with some policies that are really straining on the people? So you see that I agree strongly with the House of Reps on this and believing that that law should stand. And if they might even add to it, let it not exceed 1 month. Let the judgment, should any case be filed in any court about this,
it should be given expedited
it
hearing.
should be given a expedited hearing and judgment, so that the people can begin to, develop confidence once again on judiciary. So I salute the House of Reps on this and believe strongly that the voice of Mr. Peter Obi had affected a very positive change in this government of APC. And if they can still listen to Nigerians, not just Peter Obi, because most of the things we are shouting and crying against, if our politicians can listen to those things and reason through, not just say, this person is speaking from another political party, is an opposition, so don't listen to him. No. We are all first and foremost Nigerians before becoming a member of whichever political party.
Right.
And if we must all put our hands together to see that Nigeria of our own Nigeria is becoming something better that can compete favorably with other committee of nations, I think everybody can listen, should be able to listen to anybody who has something positive to offer.
Right.
Just like the ideas we are now sharing with the most of these power holders, political parties,
politicians.
and politicians. If they will buy from them and implement those things, it will help you, it will help us, it will help Nigerians.
All right. Thank you so much, Nze, for coming on Open Conversation. It's a pleasure having you here. And thank you so much for taking our time from your very tight schedule today to be here on Christmas Day.
Yeah, because I was waiting for you to let the whole world.
We don't take that for granted.
And shouldn't, because I know it is, in fact, it's a real sacrifice.
ATN greatly celebrates you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so
It's
much
my
for
pleasure.
coming. And thank you so much, our viewers, for always staying connected to us. We are open for sponsorship of the program, advert placements, news, events coverage, and commercials. Watch us live on our website, www.atlanticnetwork.tv, on Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network. You can also watch us on Avo TV, Niger TV, and Efastech TV platform. You can connect with us on our ATN socials by subscribing, like, and share. Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network. Instagram and TikTok, Atlantic TV Network 1, and on X, Atlantic TV Net. Do not forget, peace and unity are the pathways to progress. Thank you for watching. I remain Laurentia Ogu. Transition News comes up next. Do not go away. Merry Christmas, everyone. See you same time tomorrow.